My friends tricked me into breaking up with my boyfriend 8 years ago. I want him back now. I knew my ex Bo since we were both 11 years old. Our families were neighbors and became very close friends. We started dating in our junior year of high school. He took me to prom, to homecoming dance, and we both picked a college that was in the state that had majors we were both interested in. Everyone expected us to get married when we went off to college. The college we went to was 3 hours from our town, and it was closer to a major city in our state, and it was a bit of a culture shock for the two of us. Bo had issues at first making new friends, but I sort of jived with the gals in class. My new friends didn't think much of Bo. They kept telling me I could do better than Bo. They thought Bo was slow-witted. They thought he was too religious. They said Bo would just pull me back down to our small town, anchor me with children, and we'd both be stuck as hicks. It reached the boiling point on my 21st birthday. 2 of my girlfriends came to me claiming they saw Bo cheating on me. They were stone-faced, they kept to their stories, and I foolishly believed them. I confronted Bo and started screaming at him. Bo didn't apologize, he didn't beg and plead. Instead, he got cold and mad. He said that he never trusted my friends, that they were playing me, and he thought I was better than this. I didn't believe him and I let him walk away. He promised that if I took their word without even looking at them critically, that we were over. And he kept his word. From that day, he wouldn't even look at me. He wouldn't talk to me, he wouldn't acknowledge I existed. For the rest of college, he never dated anyone. He just worked, went to class, and graduated early. My friends, they set me up on a ton of dates. I had a bit of a wild college ride, racking up a body count in the 80s before leaving. Once I graduated, I tried to get established in life, but my college friends kept just wanting to hang out, chill, or party. It honestly got tiring, and I couldn't believe I had the energy to do this for nearly 4 years while getting an education. It was when I was 23 that one of the girls called me a stick in the mud and said something along the lines of "I can't believe we went through the effort of breaking you up with Bo if you were just going to become a wallflower." I couldn't believe it. She went into detail about how easy it was, and I felt disgusted. I didn't give Bo another thought after the breakup. I thought he was a cheater, and I told my family, who told his family, and it strained his relationship with his mom for many years. But after that point, I couldn't stop thinking about him. I told my family the truth about what happened with Bo. This apparently helped repair the relationship Bo had with his mother. Apparently, Bo's mom liked me quite a bit, and she went out of her way to sabotage Bo's relationships with any girl he brought over to meet the parents. My mom said Bo's mom did it very discreetly, but after finding out the truth, Bo's mom came clean and Bo nearly cut her out of his life. She apparently begged and pleaded, and was able to work from there. I have many unfinished drafts of emails to Bo, some saying I wish to catch up, others begging for forgiveness and pleading for him to come back to me. But any news I got on Bo after the blow-up with his mom has been sparse. Bo doesn't do social media, and I had no idea where he lived. I found out this year that Bo has been married for 3 years, and has a 2-year-old son. He has moved back to our hometown, and I saw him at the grocery store when I went to visit my parents 2 weeks ago. He didn't see me, or at least I think he didn't. But, there he was with his wife and child, and I instantly felt a swirl of emotions. Jealousy, rage, regret, depression. Even now, seeing him with his full family, I still want to beg him for a chance, which makes me feel awful, but at the same time I feel like I should at least say my piece. I talked to my mom about it, and all she said was the chickens come home to roost. Don't make trouble for Bo. I just know that if I can't talk to Bo one last time, I will regret it for the rest of my life. What do I do?
My best friend is telling me that my boyfriend cheated with her, but he says that she's lying. Plus update. I've been best friends with Becca since our childhood, and lived with her until I moved in with my boyfriend Nate a few years ago. Becca has always had a drinking problem, and she's done stuff while intoxicated that has sometimes caused problems in our friendship. She actually slept with my 16-year-old brother while intoxicated, but I forgave her after she apologized relentlessly. Becca does try to stay sober, but every few years something will happen to make her start drinking again, which is what happened earlier this summer. So last Saturday Becca called me because she was intoxicated somewhere and needed a ride home. I couldn't go pick her up because I had the flu and I was on cold medicine, so Nate went to get her instead. A couple of days after that I started noticing that Nate was being weird with his phone. My first thought was that he was trying to plan a surprise, and because of the timing I thought that maybe Becca was helping him. Yesterday I saw Becca. I told her that Nate was being sneaky all of a sudden and asked her if he said anything about maybe proposing soon. She asked me if I looked through his phone and I said no. Becca started crying and told me that she and Nate hooked up in his car the night that he came to pick her up. Her excuse was that she was really intoxicated and didn't fully know what she was doing. She said she'd been texting him since, telling him that he needed to tell me what happened or else she was going to. I asked Becca to show me the texts, but they were all in the app Signal, which deletes messages after a day, so all I could see was that she and Nate had a chat thread but nothing that they said. I told her to text Nate in front of me so I could see what he said, and she did, but we got no read receipt and no response at all, so it didn't prove anything. I asked Becca if she was sure she wasn't so intoxicated that she imagined it, or thought a dream was real, and she absolutely lost it on me. She started screaming that she knows that she's horrible when she drinks, but that she's not effing delusional and she doesn't make stuff up. She said that I could believe her or not and it's my choice, but she was telling me the truth. I said I needed to go home and talk to Nate. So when I got home I confronted Nate with what Becca had said. He acted shocked and denied that anything like that had happened at all. He said that he had just given Becca a ride home and the only thing that happened was that they talked about how he and I had been together for a long time and how we should get married already. He admitted they were talking on Signal the next couple of days, but he said that it was about exactly what I thought, that he was asking her about engagement rings and what kind of proposal I would want. Nate replied to Becca's message from before, asking her if she made up a story about them hooking up to not ruin the surprise about his proposal, and she texted him back that there was no proposal and to stop playing dumb. So then Nate called her pretending like I wasn't in the room and told her that she needed to stop whatever she was trying to do because we were on the verge of breaking up and he'd rather just have the surprise be ruined, but Becca just kept telling Nate to stop lying until he got angry and hung up on her. I really didn't know what to think and I still don't. Right now Nate is really upset and not really talking to me much. He says that it's bad enough that Becca acted insane and ruined his plan to propose, but it's even worse that I believed her lies even a little and would think that he would ever cheat on me. Becca texted me saying she was sorry, but otherwise I haven't talked to her either. I need to find the truth out somehow. Update: I lied to Nate that I had found out a way to recover deleted messages from Signal. He immediately took out his phone and opened the app and asked me to show him how to do it, so I already thought that must mean he was telling me the truth because he didn't panic or hesitate at all. When I tried to download Signal on my old phone, it turned out that it's too old to support the current version of the app, so it wouldn't work. Nate then asked me if we were going to have to go out and buy a new phone for me to believe that he was telling me the truth, and he said that he was willing to do it if that's what it would take. I told Nate it wasn't that I didn't believe him, I just wanted to have some proof because I just couldn't understand why Becca would lie about it. Nate said that she would lie about it because she's a effing crazy bitch and there's literally no way for a non-crazy person to understand why she would do anything, and once the messages prove that he didn't cheat, he never wants me talking to her again. Then he said to get up because if we were going to go to the Verizon store we had to get there before it closed. By then I completely believed Nate anyway, so I told him we didn't have to go anywhere or get a new phone and that I believed him and I knew he didn't cheat on me and that he would never do that. Nate said that he would hope I know that and that he didn't understand why I didn't take his word for it in the first place. I started trying to explain why I didn't want to just immediately dismiss what Becca had said happened, but Nate said that he really couldn't listen to that right now. I said that was fair and agreed that I would cut Becca off, but that first I wanted to try to get her to admit that nothing happened. Nate said fine, but to call her with my phone on speaker because he thought he also deserved to hear her admit that she was lying. So I called Becca and I said the same thing to her that I said to Nate, that I figured out how to recover deleted messages on Signal. She asked me why I would need to do that, so that was when I knew for sure that she was definitely making it up and not just confused somehow. I said it was because I wanted to have proof of what she and Nate talked about. Becca asked me if I saw their messages, so I lied and said yes. After that Becca just went silent until finally I asked her if she was going to say anything. Then she asked me if that meant that we were engaged now. So then I really just lost it on her. I screamed at her asking her if she was effing serious and what the F was wrong with her. How could that possibly be all that she had to say? Becca started screaming back telling me to effing calm down and about how obviously I never believed her anyway because it's not like we broke up over it. I was crying by that point and because of that I couldn't really say anything else, so then Nate told Becca to go F herself and to never ever contact either one of us ever again and hung up on her. A minute later Becca sent me a completely unhinged text that read, "Courtney, you are supposed to be my friend for life. You are supposed to be there for me. You are supposed to be my person. But then you meet Nate and now you only care about Nate. Everything is about Nate. Tell me why Nate comes to pick me up when I call you? I called you, not your precious effing Nate. I only want you to see how effed up this is, but do you? No. Of course you don't. Of course you choose Nate over me like you always do and like you always will. You pretend to care about me but I can see you don't care. It is pathetic, Courtney. You are a pathetic woman who would choose a man over a friend. Also, remember when I effed your little brother, I was never sorry. I bet you don't even care about him anymore, since you have your sweet perfect little baby Nate. Goodbye, Courtney. Is that what you want? Goodbye forever. I hope you effing got what you effing want." This one cut deep, as about a year after she had intimacy with my brother, he passed away in a car accident. There were the 3 dots after that showing she was still typing more. But I blocked her before she sent it.
Seasoned substance users, what is your worst experience on substances? This past weekend I took 13 grams of mushrooms. 5 is considered a heroic dose, 13 is irrational. I am diagnosed with BPD, bipolar disorder, paranoia, avoidant personality disorder, autism and ADHD, and have used mushrooms a lot in the past to help me mentally. However, I never took anything close to this amount before. I cannot fully put into words the experiences I was having. I was probably 2 hours into this trip, laying in bed having the most profound revelations about multiple universes. Life was dissolving. The fabric of this reality was ripping apart as I was flying through it. There was no difference between me and the bed I was laying on. I was the air I was breathing. I first pooped my pants right around the time I gave in to the idea that I had been holding on for too long. This wasn't a light shart, this was a full-on 5-alarm explosive pooping of pants. It was falling out of my shorts onto the floor no matter how hard I squeezed my glutes. I managed to make it to the toilet before full evacuation occurred, but my clothes didn't make it off, so I just pooped right through all of that. It was the best feeling of my life. I also remember thinking this is the last lucid moment you're having for a good long while. In my stupor, I took the dogs outside and this is when I died. I slowly, finally, and completely let go, and the 1 hour I was out there was eternity. It started off with me thinking I had finally fallen into permanent psychosis. I was upset because my family and anyone in my sphere of influence would never be able to shake me. It quickly devolved into me fully believing I was dead. Everything was looping, good to bad, bad to all right. Initially, I was sad and scared. That melted into acceptance of where I am, letting go of where I've been, and forgiving myself for my failures, which also led me to forgive everyone who I felt had wronged me. It was the single most profound hour of my life. Unfortunately, for my wife, bless her beautiful soul, this was anything but profound. She had already been awakened by my yelling outside and was cleaning the bathroom and bedroom. She came out probably 10 times trying to get me back in. At first, she thought I was having a mental breakdown or a stroke, or had taken too much medication again. I thought she was part of the eternal loop. Eventually she got it out of me what I'd taken, and, though she was apoplectic, she managed to get me back inside. I distinctly remember her saying several times that she was going to call the police. I'm glad she didn't. I'm not sure I'd be actually alive if she had. Once she got me inside, things only got more intense for me. Believing fully that I was dead, I let it all go. I went from intense spells of sweating to shivering cold. I spent the next 4 hours writhing around the bed, bedroom, bathroom, and closet, unable to control my bowels. I pooped for 2.5 hours. There was poop everywhere. On her clothes in the closet, on the walls, under the bed. I literally pooped on my wife. I rolled in it. When I came to, I realized I was covered in my own poop. Head to toe. My hair was matted down. It felt like clay dried to my skin. On top of all that, I had also vomited everywhere. My wife later told me you were throwing up blue and coffee grounds. After I came down off the peak, I laid in bed for probably another 45 minutes. I couldn't talk. I couldn't move. It was a mixture of processing, questioning, and then realizing how badly I had effed up. Never have I ever been that out of it. Never have I felt this shame. I thought I was going to lose everything. My wife finally talked me out of bed and walked me to the shower. It's a good thing she had a pathway of towels and trash bags from the bed to the shower because I was dripping poop. She put me in the shower, fully clothed. After letting my clothes soak for a moment, she held out a bag and I threw them away. She gave me a washcloth and I cleaned myself off. This happened 5 more times. 4 washcloths, and 2 hand towels. 2 bath towels were also tossed. I couldn't speak. I was beyond ashamed of what I had done to her. I was also still having to process being alive after being dead for eternity. If I could have left then, I would have. Rightfully so, I was kicked out by my wife. I spent the day driving aimlessly, stopping every 30 minutes to bawl my eyes out and rest. She then decided to take me back. I can't mess this up again. We have had the master bedroom professionally cleaned twice and we still have to replace the carpet. The drywall guy is coming out later this week, so in the meantime we have a poop wall. I don't know how this is possible, but in a room with 4-meter ceilings, I hit the ceiling. She did 13 loads of laundry. I'm buying her a new mattress as well as a whole new set of pillows and blankets. The drapes have already been replaced. My wife and I have talked at length about this and are in agreement that I cannot take mushrooms anymore. Long road ahead, but I'm finally ready to face it head on.